Welcome to Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, the podcast where three Chicago guys light up a fine cigar and get into everything from sports and current events to hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, or just some good laughs, we got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for laid-back chats with a Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air.
Hello, Marty.
Mike, good to see you again.
Good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Weather's getting warm. Summertime is here.
Summertime is upon us. What did it hit? Did it hit 90 today? I thought it was darn close. 84 right now. So
it was pretty warm.
Yeah. And then we're gonna get storms tonight. So we'll get our Chicago rain. It's been a wet freaking spring. Like, holy cow.
Yeah. Like, we need more rain though right now. I think it's been a little last few weeks have been dry, so
yeah.
Just need to even it out. Just even the rain out.
I'm just tired of cutting my lawn already. I don't want to cut it twice a week. I don't like it.
You may have had more rain down south there than we have.
We might have. My daughter's been getting pounded in St. Louis. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, they've had a lot of storms.
Yeah.
And then they had the big snafu where they didn't turn on the tornado sirens.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a tornado and they didn't turn on the tornado sirens somehow.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, TX, how you doing, buddy?
Texas Rebel. Good evening.
Oh, good evening. And of course, we've got our co-host that's not co-hosting because he is working. The joys of being a responsible adult, Teddy. So up by you, they didn't turn on the tornado sirens when they were supposed to?
No, in St. Louis.
Oh, in St. Louis, yeah. It's always an interesting.
Somebody got fired for that.
Did they?
Yeah.
When I first moved out here, we had a situation where the tornado sirens were going off, and I called the mayor and I go, I don't know if those are going off or not. He goes, oh yeah, I can hear it. I go, well, a block away, we can't hear it. And he walked over. He's like, oh my gosh. So we had to turn up the volume a little bit louder, so it's always interesting with those situations.
Yeah, I think the politicians in St. Louis said, we don't need sirens. Everyone's got a phone. That was their answer.
Yeah, if it goes off, if you don't have it, I know some people you can turn off your alerts. That's always, it's not good. It's not good at all.
You don't want to ignore those.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, so it's been an interesting one. We had some serious winds again today. So I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight with the storms. See how bad they get. They're talking about severe about 4 a.m. So we'll see.
They're making tornadoes in Kansas last time I looked.
Would they?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hopefully they peter out. If it's like 4 a.m., usually it's not so bad.
Remember your tornado thing. Remember your tornado thing with Today in History, because it'll play a part.
All right. Little foreshadowing. And just to let all of our viewers know, next week I am jacked. About next week's show. I'm like a kid meeting his hero. We are going to have Bob the Cigar Guy on our show. We solidified that last. Yeah. It's our first real guest, and he agreed. So it's a nervous kind of excitement going, man. We got to get everything down pat, and we're still in the infant stages. I mean, this is episode 27, 28, something like that. So we are still infants. We're still evolving.
Yes, we are.
Up to the next level.
Yeah. So, yes, Teddy, you better be ready to go. You're talking to your bosses over there and make sure you're here. So
I really like listening to Bob the Cigar Guy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy his show and his son's show, Chief's show.
Yeah, and then his, I don't know, do you listen to his Friday afternoon podcast on the way home?
I listen to that
It's called-
sometimes. I
Yeah.
listened. He just did one where he got like his dream job at the
Yes.
BMW plant. So
Yes, that was last week's. That was
Yeah.
last week's. So I told him I've got a 20-minute ride home. So it's not enough to get into it, but the hour long of his show is when I'm cutting the grass. So I go, I listen to it when I cut the grass. He's like, hey, whatever, but so yeah, it's always good and entertaining. When we go through that. So I'm excited. So it'll be a good show. Hopefully we'll pull some viewers over from Chief Talks and see if some of those guys will come over here and join us, and we'll be able to advertise it some more with our groups and our social media. Speaking of social media, do you want to break the news about how we have evolved in the last week?
Yeah, we got our own website now.
We do.
Got our own website so we can post cigar reviews.
We do. It is right here. So it's a Wix site. So Wix, if people aren't familiar with it, is almost an app. It is an app. I shouldn't say almost an app. It's an app. So you can download the app and have our website right on your app. So it's actually pretty cool. So I would highly recommend or highly encourage, or I'm not above begging for you to go and subscribe to our website, and we will be posting news and cigar reviews like Marty said. So that'll be fantastic. There's actually a review up there already by our own Marty. He did that.
I did a test review. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the
Looks
Alma del Fuego.
Oh, yes. Yes. So you should be seeing those. That was our goal to have it up by June 1st. We achieved our goal. So 6 months into our podcast, we've got our own website. Now we've got to start doing work with it. So that'll be exciting. So yeah. So Chi-Town Cigar.
Chris helped a lot with that. So thanks, Chris.
Chris, yes. Phenomenal. We don't give Chris enough props. He does our editing for Spotify. He did our whole website and helped to develop that. And it's great. We appreciate him. Once again, Chris is the owner of Eyeglass Fix. Eyewear Fix. Eyeglass Fix. Eyewear Fix. It's on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't get it out fast enough. So, we can't push you hard enough to Eyewear Fix and get over there and see Chris, and he'll hook you up with some sunglasses now that it's sunny in the great state of Illinois. I use that term great very loosely. But he can hook you up with some sunglasses, some safety glasses, some readers and peepers if you need them. So
yeah, so really looking forward to posting more of our new cigar reviews up there, and see how we end up in the top 10 lists this year.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll have our contribution to the consensus, and we'll see how that plays out over time. Next week we probably won't be doing a new cigar, but the following week we'll be back on our cigars. Probably the McAuliffe Purple, I think, would be one of the next ones that we'll throw out there, but we'll see. So it'll be exciting. It'll be fun. So should we get to our mission and get this ball rolling tonight?
Let's get to our mission.
We need some funky music here, something. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Mission Impossible song.
There we go. Mission Impossible. So why don't you tell us what our mission is today, Marty?
Our mission tonight is it's graduation season. Everybody, you're driving around the neighborhood, you're seeing graduation parties every weekend, people celebrating their loved ones' graduation to the next step in their life. And
Yes.
We thought that would be a good time to dive into the journey of a cigar enthusiast and help you figure out when is it the time to step up to the next level from beginner sticks, if that's where you are, to more sophisticated, to premium cigars. And we wanted to cover those topics and talk about our journeys, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, it's a great topic. I mean, as I was putting together my thoughts on it and reviewing it, everybody has a different journey. And I think hopefully after tonight, we're going to sort of put some guardrails out there. We're not gonna force you into a lane, but we're sort of going to say, hey, here's some guardrails to sort of help keep you on that path. And if you want to continue that path, here's some of the things you can look for. Here's some of the things that we've experienced, the mistakes that we've made. I'll be happy to share some of the mistakes I've made in the cigar lifestyle. So it's interesting for sure in that regard. And now, how long have you been smoking cigars?
Really cigar nerdish level since COVID. So not that long.
Okay. Yeah.
Just very, I would enjoy them every so often, but I didn't know a Maduro from a Connecticut from anything before that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've probably, oh my gosh, almost 20. I mean, I've been smoking cigars since I was 23. So that would be 34 years. And probably the nerd level for the last 20 years. An intense nerd level probably since COVID, and I'll talk about that as we go through.
You have three levels in there: nerd and intense nerd. I'm interested to hear about the intense nerd.
Yes. Teddy's claiming he's a newbie. I don't know about that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where you fall into this realm.
How long have you been a cigar nerd, Teddy?
Yeah. So is he going to chime in? With a lot of experience so far. Yeah. You definitely have a lot of experience. So, what's graduating to the next level all about, Marty? In school, you graduate because you've mastered that level. You've mastered high school. You've mastered kindergarten, as crazy as that sounds. You've mastered college. You've mastered graduate school. So are we telling people they've mastered something when they graduate or when they progress? Or is it just a forward step up or a step up into the cigar lifestyle?
That's a good question, because I don't think, like, my experience in life is you're always learning something, no matter what you're doing. You're always learning something, unless it's the most rote thing. And even then, technology changes and things change. So you're always on a learning journey. And cigars are no different. Like, you might start out as a new cigar buying gas station Rough Riders, or flavored. I don't even know what they sell in gas stations.
Backwood smokes. Backwood smokes.
Yeah.
I had my experience with those.
Yeah. And they'll be enjoyable for you up to a point. But then somebody might offer you a more premium cigar. Maybe not the most expensive thing, but you might get offered like an acid cigar or something. And you're like, oh, this, you can tell the difference in quality, and your enjoyment goes up, and you get more interested. Maybe next time you try something not flavored, and you just go from there. You're always learning.
And I think that's a huge part of it. When we talk about graduating, or in this concept of graduating, we're not talking about mastering something, but we're talking about you going, that was good, but what's next? What's better? What can I go to? What can I move up to? There's a curiosity, and at the same point, there's an experience. It's, hey, these Swisher Sweets, as Teddy likes to chime in and tell us about, these backwoods smokes, these white owls have been good, but I'm curious if there's something else, and that's part of the whole learning curve or the learning genre is we always are looking for, well, I want to know a little bit more about this. So we delve into it a little bit further and you keep going. So I think that's the big takeaway from what we're going to talk about tonight is this isn't about dollars and cents. This is about your personal journey and how you can evolve it and how you can grow as far as you want to. You can get to a point, and people do. People go, high school's it. I'm done. I'm not going any further, and that's fine. There's nothing to knock somebody with that but saying, okay, I'm done, and I'm going to go out into the working world and do that. Okay, that's fine. You've got to that point where you're going, I've had enough. And that happens in cigars, going, hey, I've made it to factory smokes. I'm happy with these. I don't want to go into the next level. I don't want to get into the $13 to $18 cigar. I'm happy with whatever, so.
Yeah. And
that's what people
there
gotta
is
realize.
like a budgetary thought about it. But kind of as you go on your journey, through life, as you advance in your career, you probably have a little more money to spend. You want to start looking at, leveling things up in your life, and cigars can be a part of that.
So what about you? So how did you became a cigar nerd during COVID, which I think the industry will find more and more that's common. We
Right.
picked up a lot of people during COVID. So what's your journey in the cigar world?
So my journey since COVID was, you're sitting at home, you can't go anywhere, see an ad for a sampler pack in your mailbox. You don't know, like I said, anything about Maduro versus Connecticut, but it's like $15 for 5 cigars or something. You're like, oh, I'll try that. I got time to spare. I'll try that. And you get those and you start researching, like, geez, now you gotta learn how to store them. You gotta learn, go read what other people say about these cigars, these random cigars that you've gotten in your pack. And you're like, you start reading it and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't understand half of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then to me, I mean, I tend to go down like rabbit holes of learning things. Like I went down a rabbit hole of learning to play golf, and I would just read and study and watch videos until I felt like I was proficient enough, as proficient as I wanted to get in a certain subject. It's the same thing with fishing, all kinds of stuff like that. And so that was just a natural thing for me to learn about cigars. And the more I learned about it, and the more I tasted, I got into that 5-pack and started looking at what I want to try next. And that's where it went. I went. I don't think I ever did like. I wasn't heavily into like the backwood smokes or short filler cigars at the beginning. I think the pack I had like Monte Cristo and Oliva and a lot of the larger cigar manufacturer cigars.
Yeah. It's interesting because
like I said, I started probably 34 years ago. And it was a friend offered me a cigar, and I thought, sure, I'll try this. And so I lit it up, and it was a Dominican. That's all I knew. There was no wrapper on it. It was a Dominican. It probably was a factory smoke or something like that. No, this is pretty good. So I started asking him, where'd you get them from? And he gave me the name of the store. And I thought, okay, I'll take a travel down there. And I walked into the store and I started looking at prices, and I'm like, holy cow, this is, so I think I probably picked up 2 or 3. And like you, I didn't know anything about it. So I'm like, okay, how do you light these things? I remember it was a soft lighter. There weren't torches back then. It was a soft flame. So I'm like, okay, I'll light this up, and smoked it, and okay, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm enjoying this. I can get into this. And back then there wasn't the internet. So it was like, yeah, you sort of just talk to people. Hey, do you smoke cigars? No, I don't smoke cigars. Yeah, I smoke cigars. What do you smoke? I don't know. Whatever I can pick up, at the gas station, okay. And I can remember a couple times just picking up backwoods. I'd pick up a pack. And the reason was it was convenience. It was they were in a pouch. I didn't have to worry about anything. Hey, just keep them in the pouch and that's it. So okay, fine. And then I started getting into Al Capone's, and I don't know why, or Capone cigars. I don't know why. I can remember several times going to my mom's house at Christmas time, and there was a cigar shop right down the street from hers, and I'd run in there, and she had a deck on her condo that we could step outside, and both of my brothers smoked cigarettes. So I'm like, well, I can grab a cigar and have a cigar out there. Well, all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute here. Smoking a cigar is a lot different than smoking a cigarette. They're done in 10 minutes, and I'm still out there, So yeah, that was that. I made the same mistake everybody makes in buying a humidor. I bought a glass top humidor, I think probably from an online company. We won't mention their name. And thought this is the best thing in the world, and threw cigars in there and got the little plastic humidity pack and threw that thing in there and poured distilled water over it. But I didn't know anything about humidity. I just, hey, and I think at the time they had a little dial on the front, the hygrometer on the front. So I'm like, all right, it looks good to me. Things didn't start changing probably till probably after my divorce. One of my buddies that I hung out with, that I worked with, smoked cigars. So he offered me one, and it was like, oh, hey, yeah, this is great. I know for the 5 years prior to my divorce, I didn't smoke a cigar that entire time. So him offered me one, and then we found a local brick and mortar that we could go to every Friday. Every Friday we'd walk into that place. After work, we'd walk in there, sit down, have a cigar, a cup of coffee or a Diet Coke, and we'd enjoy them. And this sort of goes along with the journey. I didn't touch a Maduro. I remember touching a Maduro once, and my head was spinning. And I'm like, no way. I am staying away from these suckers. I'd walk into that shop and look, dark wrapper. Nope. I'm moving right away from that one. And I'd find something else. And I was big into the Gurkhas. The Gurkha Shaggy was my go-to cigar. If I could find those somewhere, I'd probably pick up 10 of them. And okay, hey, I felt like I'd won the lottery, and then a couple more buddies of mine smoked cigars. They got me into Drew Estates, the infused. So I'm like, okay. And we went downtown to Chicago, met Jonathan Drew at an event. And that's when the nerd started kicking in. That's when all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute here. There's people that talk to you that own cigar companies. And he talked to us for 45 minutes.
And that's before Jonathan Drew was Jonathan Drew. I mean, he owned Drew Estates, but it wasn't at the caliber it was at now,
Right.
So that's where that's where I started looking into things more. It started talking to my buddy more. I didn't say there's anything wrong with Gurkhas. I know people have got some issues with them. I'm not here to cause controversy. If you like a Gurkha, smoke a Gurkha. I'm not saying you right, wrong, or indifferent. But yeah, so my buddy had a humidor he built out of a refrigerator. Retrofitted the refrigerator, put the cedar in there, and you'd walk into his house and you go, "What do you want?" "I don't know." "What do you got?" "Here, try this." And so things started evolving from there. I started keeping a notebook, went down that rabbit hole. I have that. That's my personality. My personality is if I'm into something, it's 110% and don't get in my way. So,
Yeah,
we'll go on.
I started keeping a notebook too. It's like I want to kind of remember what I was trying to figure out what I liked, right? Like,
yeah,
all these different cigars, and you walk into a humidor, and it's a little intimidating because
absolutely
you don't know what's good, what's not good, and like the real answer is they're probably all pretty good in the humidor. Like you can get some stinkers, but
somebody likes it. Somebody
right.
likes it, or else the brand would have stopped making them. I mean, they're being sold, whatever it is. If they weren't good to somebody or to a large group of somebody's, the brand would go, "We're not making them anymore."
Right.
So,
but when you're new,
the grape infused.
Do you want to spend $15 on a cigar you haven't tried before, and you want to make the best choice possible?
Yeah.
So first, you got to figure out what you like. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And there's so many different varieties and growing regions, and, that you just don't, it's hard to nail down. So you got to start slow and, go on your journey and take notes, and you'll zero in on it eventually.
Yeah, and real quick, and we can keep moving on. But somebody this week, I was listening to a podcast, and I don't know if it was Bob the Cigar Guy or if it was Rick Rodriguez from West Tampa, shared this tidbit, or it might have even been Dave Garofalo. I can't remember who it was, but he said, when you find a cigar that you enjoy, take a picture of the band. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He goes, when you find a cigar you don't enjoy, take and rip that cigar band in half and take a picture of it. And that way, looking at it, oh, that's the one I didn't like. That's the one, so I'm thinking that's a really good tip, especially nowadays, because we all carry phones, to be able to go, hey, did I like that cigar or didn't I? I can't remember. Oh, let me open it up. Oh yeah, that one's ripped. I didn't like that one. And it's an easy way of doing it.
Easier than making a Google spreadsheet and listing out the name and manufacturer in the country it was made in, and binder, filler, wrapper.
Yes. It must have been Rick Rodriguez. I'll share some stories, but he had a really good podcast with the Cigar Authority last week. I think it was last week. So yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit as we go through, because I think some of the stuff that he added is good in our discussion here. So
right. That was one of the things I liked about the dojo. Like I found the dojo pretty early on in my cigar nerd phase, and that helped a lot with keeping track of what have I smoked, and it lists out. You can go research any cigar. They have most every cigar in there. They're always adding new ones, but they got a ton of cigars in there. And now they have a smoke log, so you can actually look at what cigars have I smoked the most of, what brands have I smoked the most of.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, it's great. And it's great. I mean, you need to find the dojo or something like that to be able to keep track. And at the same point, have those interactions, you know, whether it's Cigar Dojo, whether it's Cigars Daily, their Facebook group, or Cigars Daily Plus, those groups, to be able to talk to people. The tough thing is, for the new cigar smoker, I will caution you 100% here. Don't take what everybody says as being gospel. Just because somebody says they don't like Gurkha doesn't mean you shouldn't try a Gurkha. If somebody says they don't like a Rocky Patel Chief, doesn't mean you shouldn't smoke a Rocky Patel. You know, I smoked a Rocky Patel the other day and I'm like, it's not so bad. You know, and I mean, I smoked them every once in a while, you know, so don't let others persuade you. No. Let them give you some advice, but you've got to make your own decisions. You know, it's just the way it is. You know, I mean, if you let people steer you, and that goes into cigar reviews, it goes into cigar lists. Next week, when Bob is on, I just am going to compliment him because he still has one of the best statements I've ever heard somebody make. Don't smoke a cigar because I smoke it, or I tell you that it's good. You've got to find somebody's palate that you line up with and go, okay, I know if he likes that cigar, I usually like 90% of the cigars he likes, so I'm probably going to like that cigar. If he doesn't like it, I'm probably not going to like it. But it's not to say I'm not going to smoke it. You know, the dojo's great, but I laugh because I'll get on there and I'll smoke a cigar and I'm giving it a thumbs up and I see the rating and I'm like, the rating's like 92%. So that's a pretty big group of people that didn't like it.
Right.
You know? So
and you don't know,
holy cow, what's going on here?
You don't know if they tried the same Vitola as you, because that can play a big part in it. You don't know if they had construction issues for whatever reason, right. If it wasn't stored right, or just a bad day for that roller or something. Yeah.
Well, and Adam Gard shared something on a podcast, or on a Whereby, on the Aganorsa Whereby group a couple weeks ago, that said what you eat prior to that cigar affects your palate. So you could have, I don't know, a chicken sandwich, and now you go smoke something that's a little bit heavy, and you're like, oh, this has got a weird taste to it. Well, it's not to say that some of that chicken, that flavor that you had from that chicken sandwich, isn't still lingering. So therefore, it's affecting it. So I know you do this. I do it with my reviews. It's 2 cigars. It's 2 cigars, and I smoke them at 2 different times. I want to smoke one in the evening and one mid-afternoon to be able to know, okay, this smoked the same. It had the same flavor notes. It had the same consistency in the burn and all those things. So, you know, it'll all develop for you. It'll all develop for you, which I think leads us into when do you know when you're ready to move up? When do you know you're ready to graduate? You know, we don't have a professor standing there going, you got an A or you got a C, you're ready to move on.
There's no test.
Mm-mm.
No certification. You just got to, you kind of know it when either you're like, I'm hearing a lot about this cigar. I want to go out and try it. And I've had, or maybe I'm tired of what I'm smoking. I want to look at something new. Maybe you want to go to more of the boutique side of cigars. And that was a long.
Oh boy. There's a taboo word right now.
To go down that hole. The dojo guys went down that hole last Friday, and no one could agree on what was a boutique cigar.
No.
But maybe you want to find some small manufacturer of a cigar, just because maybe you like the idea of smoking something different than everyone else and finding the diamond in the rough. That's always kind of cool when you find a cigar that you're like, I've never heard anyone talk about this, but this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you go out and listen to music and you hear some new band that no one knows about, and you're like, wow, I'm on the ground floor of this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Marty or Teddy thinks that graduating for cigars is moving from bigger companies to more boutique, and he of course is buttering you up and telling you that you're right. I think the thing with
way to graduate for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think one of the things that to remember with graduating is graduation can come in different forms. Yes, it might be, hey, I'm moving from this big company, X company, to this little boutique company. It also can be, I've been in this boutique company smoking for the last year. I want to find something else. I want to find a different brand. I want to find something else to see what another brand, because there's no hiding it that I'm right now. I'm in an Aganorsa school. Hey, this is where I'm at. I'm learning Aganorsa. I'm learning their brand. I'm enjoying their brand. I don't feel the need to move into anything from a podcast or from a reviewer standpoint. I'm trying other things. Absolutely. But I just put an order in today for 4 or 5 packs of Aganorsa cigars. That's my lane right now. I don't have a problem with that. But at the same point, there's going to come a time, and Terrence, close your ears, that I'm going to say, okay, I've had quite a few Aganorsas. I want to move into this lane. And it's not to say I'm not going to smoke an Aganorsa again, but I want to find something that maybe has some different flavor notes, that has some different vitolas, and go, hey, you know what? I want to experience this cigar, this company, this whatever. And so I'm going to move into a Maduro stage. I'm going to really, look at some of the different Maduros and really try to focus on them. So don't get yourself into a mindset again that, oh, if I'm graduating, I can't go back or I have to move up. You could go left or right. It doesn't matter. We're not saying graduation is a step up. Teddy has a good point. It's going from bigger companies to boutiques. But, if you listen to the Dojo Friday night, Black Label Trading isn't a boutique company anymore. They're a mid-sized company. So, well, wait a minute here. I want to smoke. That's the next line I want to go to. I want to be involved and I want to really experience all of what James Brown has. So therefore, absolutely go for it. Enjoy those and enjoy that. I think that's the great thing about this lifestyle. You can't get bored. There's no way you can get bored.
Mm-mm.
Move into a different company
or a country. Like maybe you're smoking
country,
Dominican cigars and you're like, man, people are always talking about these Nicaraguan cigars. I'm worried they're a little too spicy for me, but maybe your palate is evolving or you want to change.
And another form of graduation is, and I just graduated probably 3 months ago. I moved from the Robusto to the Toros. I was real big into Robustos. That was my jam. That was my cigar. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm hearing a lot more about flavor notes and better experiences with a Toro or with a Grand Corona. So I want to experience those. And the cigars I just ordered, there was 1 5-pack of a Grand Corona and a couple of the Toros. So that's a whole nother line of graduating, is going, hey, I still like this cigar, but you know what? Let me see what it's like in a Toro. Let me see what it's like in a Churchill. Let me see what it's like in a Lancero. And you might all of a sudden go, oh, wait a minute here. Lanceros, hey, this is a whole different experience. But with Lanceros comes a whole different level of education. Because if you're going to be a Lancero smoker, you better have your timing down pat, or you're going to be relighting that sucker every 5 minutes. So,
yeah, there's a lot of people I think that go that are big Lancero lovers, but it's a small minority of. If you just look at sales, that's the small minority.
Yeah, there's a big group of Lancero lovers, but they don't buy. They don't buy them
because they're not. I don't think I've never heard of anyone who's like solely a Lancero smoker.
Mm-mm.
No.
But
just like you can graduate with multiple degrees. Like I know people who have like 5 different degrees in their life, and they're just like a professional student almost. And they like to get the certificate, I guess. So they graduate with multiple degrees.
Yep.
But you can do the same thing in cigars. You don't have to go. It doesn't have to be the next level. It could be to the next thing, next country.
Yep.
Next ring gauge. Next Maduro versus Connecticut.
Yeah. And I think too, we've got to say, to be fair, you've got to judge yourself on your knowledge of cigars. You've got to basically be able to say, you know what? I'm comfortable with cutting a cigar. I'm comfortable with torching and lighting a cigar. I understand that's a process. It's, again, back years ago, I can remember you'd buy a cigar and the guy would say, hey, do you want me to light it? You go, yeah. You put that to your mouth. He'd light that suck. Oh, take some drags, and okay, and you'd walk away. And you're like, oh, okay, you lit it. Now, for the experienced cigar smoker, you understand the whole idea of torching that thing, getting that tip red hot.
Uh-oh. The storms may have come for Mike. He is stuck with his mouth open, and he has left me alone. I'm going to have to graduate to host. So I don't know where he was going with that, but that is part of your cigar journey, is learning all the accessories and how to properly light a cigar so it'll stay lit, and all the different types of cuts. You could graduate from a straight cut to a V cut and back to a straight cut. Even dabble with a punch cut. There's just so many. There goes Mike. There's just so many different ways to cut, and they affect the taste. Punch cut will make your cigar a little, kind of concentrates the flavor. And the same with the V cut. V cut's nice on the Blisco shaped cigars with the pointed ends, because a lot of times I have trouble with those, and getting a good draw on those, because they kind of concentrate the very end of the cigar as they're wrapping up. Tapering the end tends to get easier to get plugged. So if you do a V cut, you kind of relieve some of that pressure and give a little more surface area for the air to get through. How far are we on the show tonight? I've lost the clock. I think we're probably about halfway through. So I'm going to talk about our sponsors. Sponsors tonight, just as every night, we got Ultimate Cigar, who sponsors us. Let's hear about
Step
that.
into luxury at Ultimate Cigar Lounge, where passion meets perfection. Discover a world of premium cigars, hand-selected from the finest tobacco regions. From bold beginners to seasoned aficionados, our curated collection delights every palate. Grab a cigar from our amazing selection, pair it with freshly brewed coffee or fine spirits, and sit back and relax in an atmosphere of elegance and warmth. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, your haven for unforgettable moments. Visit us today and ignite your senses. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, located in Villa Park, Illinois. Open daily.
And we got a big event coming up with Ultimate on the 28th with Black Label Trading Company. Really looking forward to that. And Mike is back.
I don't know what happened. My apologies.
You were stuck like this.
All of a sudden, I'm talking to myself. I'm just like, what happened?
You froze. Yeah, I was just talking about the Black Label Trading Company event at Ultimate.
Absolutely, yeah. That's gonna be a good show, a good event. We're all gonna be there. The Chi-Town Cigar guys are gonna be there. So I didn't know if you said that or not, but yeah, looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun. As long as there's a break, do you want to? Did you do the commercials? Did I miss the commercials?
Just did the Ultimate one. We can do the eyewear
Okay.
fix one next.
Yeah, why don't you jump into that, and I'm going to get everything lined up for the news, and we can go from there.
All right, let's go.
Looking for the ultimate eyewear experience in Chicagoland? Discover Eyewear Fix, your premier eyewear store for over 28 years. From sunglasses to sports glasses to safety gear, we've got it all at every price point. Bring your prescription, and we'll handle the rest. Our appointment-only office offers a private, concierge-style experience tailored to your busy schedule. Call or text Chris at 630-853-4167 to book your visit and see why Eyewear Fix surpasses expectations. Eyewear Fix, where style meets precision. Get your fix today.
Yeah, Chris. Again, we got to thank Chris. He's doing so much for us and helping us to keep this ball rolling. We appreciate everything that he's done, and give him a call, set up, see what he can do for you. It'll be a great experience with him. So shall we get to the news?
Yeah, what's
Shan't we
going
get to
on?
the news?
What is going on in the world of cigars?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So first thing is, there's a report out today. I saw it in Half Wheel. I also saw it in Cigar Aficionado that the first 2 months of imports, the report has come in, and it's not looking good. It is not looking good in any way, shape, or form for the cigar industry. There's been a downturn from not only the countries, but from the brand. So it's down. I think they figured it's down like 9.5% compared to last year at this time. I don't know if that is related to the tariffs, but Nicaragua, and that's the world's largest producer of handmade cigars, shipped 29 million cigars this year. That's down 9.3%. The Dominican shipments are down by 4.1%.
Is that like for the first quarter or
just for the first 2 months? Just for the first 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, January and February. So
compared to January and February of the previous year?
24. Yeah, of 24. So yeah. So Honduras only shipped 6.2 million cigars, and it's down 19.3% compared to last year. So that's substantial. I mean, it's nothing. Again, I don't think it's anything to panic over, but I think there's a point that you got to look and say, "Ooh, what's going on here?" And it could be the economy is bad. People don't have money to just dispose of. Cigars are always disposable income. We'll talk about that a little bit more with the with your graduation, but yeah, so it's definitely affecting the industry.
See if that trend continues, or what could be the cause of that trend. Certainly could be. There was a little dip in the economy early on, although it seems like things are picking up.
The stock market has been doing well. I know, based on what I'm watching, it's been on an upward trend. So hopefully we'll see the summertime bring some relief, and we'll see some people getting back to work. We'll see things start picking up and costs going down. But
I wonder if it could have had something to do with the fact that the PCA was earlier this year than it used to be, right?
Yeah.
That's a change.
That's definitely a possibility.
Might have some factor.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those weird things that, we look at it and go, oh, wait, hey, this could be a good thing. And at the same point, we could go, oh, wait, this could be a bad thing. So, from a consumer side of things, if things slow down, hopefully you'll see prices go down, but from a retailer standpoint, yeah,
prices
I know. I know.
Prices are not going down. And even with the
Mm-mm.
tariffs, people are saying, yeah, even if the tariffs go away, the prices aren't going to go down after we
Yeah,
after we
nobody's going to drop their price. What will happen is, I believe brands will keep their prices where they're at, and you won't see a price increase in 26 because they're going to say, "Hey, we increased prices twice in 25. Once our regular increase, and then with tariffs, we're not going to increase in 26."
Right.
So that's what I hope. So, but yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Should we get to the Illinois bad news?
Oh yeah, let's do Illinois.
Should we talk on that? Go ahead.
Illinois just passed their biggest budget ever, $55.2 billion. And included in that was a big tax increase on tobacco products, including cigars. Cigar tax in Illinois went from 36% to 45%. That's a 9% difference.
Yeah. I want to see how that's going to play out, because I don't think they realize that this is going to affect small businesses. This is going to affect small businesses. Yeah, if you would have turned around and said, okay, we're going to put that in cigarettes only, but we're not going to affect, cigars. But they nailed it with cigars and vapes. Vape products are in the same category. So I think
and
this
cigarettes, like cigarette tax went up $1. It was from 7 to 8.
Yeah. So it's going to affect small businesses. You're going to see a lot of small businesses, shops that are going to contemplate, I can't keep up with this, and I know Teddy, who, and our sponsor, Ultimate Cigar Lounge, it's, you hate to say holy cow, but at the same point, you got to say, man, this is going to make it tough to go to a cigar lounge and pick things up if you're going to keep on this trend. So way to go, JB. We'll see what this is going to play out down the road. So,
yep.
Asylum has shipped their split personality. So for all of you infused lovers, you can get a banana infused cigar. I know Teddy's picking up 2 or 3 boxes of these because he loves those infused cigars. So
I'm not going to go on that cigar journey.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. The only thing I like that tastes like banana is a banana, but like banana flavored things.
Yeah, no. So, but it's oh, Ted, you got to give it a try. It hit the shelves. It's shipped. So we'll see. I know Eric and them smoked it in the dojo. There was some mixed reviews. I think they said smoking it was bad, but the aroma or the smoke smelled fantastic. So so we'll see. But one of the cigars that did hit the stores and sold out very quickly is the Amazon Basin Daggers. So these are the leftovers of your Amazon Basins. So they're small little, got a little fly flying around me here. These are little small, what is it? Is it I think it's a 4x38 or 38x4. Yeah, 4x38. So it's a small little cigar, but they went like hotcakes. And for a pack of 5, it's $24.99. So it's not a bad deal. You get a pack of 5 for $24.99. That's a good budget cigar. But you're gonna be hard pressed to probably find them. I think is, I was looking before the show to try to see if there was any available, and the 2 shops that had them have the notify me when they're back in stock again.
Teddy ordered some, so he's going to share with us.
There you go. Go, Teddy.
I missed out.
Yes, I missed out as well. So,
but I do like the Amazon Basin.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And then I don't have this, but I noticed it. Do you want to talk about the new Umbagog Vitola that's coming out.
They're doing like
Sam,
a Robusto or something?
yeah, a Robusto, yeah.
Bronzeback Robusto.
The Bronzeback, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bronzeback Robusto. So that'll probably be a hot cake item.
Yeah.
And then from Black Label is the Avispa. So this is hitting shelves. I believe it's hitting shelves this week. It's supposed to have been shipped. I'm trying to find my notes. When I had my technical difficulty, I started panicking. So I was closing things.
James Brown posting little sneak peeks of him doing some validation of the Avispa.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I guess Avispa.
Well, and they've got that other one.
Wasp. That's like a wasp picture, huh?
Wasp. Yeah. They're big into that. They're big into that area. Is they've had the killer bee and now they've got the wasp. Yeah. So yeah. So I think that's it for news. Unless you got anything I missed.
Just to follow up on the Connecticut thing we talked about last week.
Oh yeah.
Like it was going to be illegal to buy cigars in Connecticut. Apparently, that's all that text they had in their bill went away. So it turned out to be a nothing burger in the end.
Oh, it's always good to see. It's not somewhere I'm going to move to, but it's always good to see that somebody has some brains to go, yeah, we're not gonna go through this crap, and go with it. So, yeah, the Avispa is a 5 3/4 by 48, and MSRP of $12. So that's a Toro, with a Nicaraguan filler, Ecuadorian binder, and a dual wrapper of Ecuadorian Habano and Candela. So that'll really be interesting. I haven't smoked many Candelas, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Is it a barber pole or just a dual wrapper?
It doesn't say. It's just a dual wrapper. So
Candela is hidden underneath.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing. I think when people see Candela barber pole, they try to steer away from those.
They don't want to go on that journey.
No, no. So, speaking of journey, good segue, Marty. We left off with you're graduating, when you want to graduate or when you're ready to graduate.
Yeah.
And one of the things is one of the mistakes I made, and that's finances. You've got to look at where you're at in your financial journey before you decide to graduate, because you can do yourself more harm than good if you graduate or try to graduate too soon where you don't have the money. You don't want to be. I put quite a few cigars on credit card back in my first marriage, and that'll cause problems. You know, if you don't have the disposable cash to graduate or to start buying those cigars, don't do it. Don't get yourself in that mix, because it's going to cause yourself way too many problems. There are great budget cigars out there. There are cigars in the $10 and under range. Even now, the Bronzeback is a phenomenal budget cigar. And like boutique, budget has a bad aura about it. And there's not. No. There's, I will smoke every day on my way to work one of three budget cigars: a new Cuba Corojo, a Havana Q, or a Shade. And they're all three of them are great cigars. They're under $6 a cigar. I think the new Cubas are at $2.50 a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's I'm probably down to 2 cigars a day, sometimes more, depending upon what's going on. The weekends I make up for it. But I don't have a problem smoking a $2.50 cigar. It is what it is. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still, believe me, I enjoy that cigar more than anything. So don't
Don't
Don't-
go
don't
into
move-
debt for cigars. Not worth it. Like if you need to use
It's
your
family
credit,
life too.
like if your car breaks down, you got to pay for a car repair. Yeah, you can put that on your credit card, but not cigars or
Right.
alcohol or anything like that. That's extra.
No. And you got to look at your family life too. You and I both we're I don't want to say childless, but we're empty nesters. We don't have kids. We have our spouses, and that's it. We have disposable income. We have that money sitting around that we go, okay, hey, I'm not paying for diapers. I'm not paying for school. I'm not paying for school supplies or stuff like that. So we have that disposable. And I'm not taking anything away from people with families, but you're going to have to live on a cigar budget. We talked about it. Go back and look at our show on cigar budgets. We talked about how to set up a cigar budget, and go, okay, hey, this is my budget. And maybe every once in a while you do get into a more expensive cigar, but that's a treat. And you're going, okay, hey, I know when I have the cash, I'm going to buy some more of these cigars, so, but yeah, it's an ugly mess when you get into it.
I never asked you what
So-
were you smoking tonight, Mike.
I
We
just
forgot.
took the wrapper off too, darn it. I know we got into so much so quick. I am actually smoking. I don't know if you can I can't do this. Everybody else can do it.
It's like a
not gonna show.
Perdomo.
I smoked. It is a Perdomo, the 30th anniversary sun grown, and a
Oh,
Churchill version. The Churchill version. So, it's a great cigar. I told Marty before the show, this could be a longer show. I need a Churchill. I need something that's going to last throughout the entire show. I don't want to have to light up another cigar mid-show. So, what are you smoking?
I've got the Tatuaje Fausto.
Oh yeah, great cigar.
Yeah, I like
Great
that.
cigar.
Tuesday, figured I'd go with the Tatuaje. Got my Tatuaje hat.
Yeah. Saints and Sinners is open. If you know somebody that's in the Saints and Sinners Club, reach out to them. See if they've used their invitation for one club member. So if you can find somebody that is a member and hasn't shared their invitation yet, jump in on it. It's a great
member, and I have not shared my invitation yet. So reach out to me.
I'm a member too, and I haven't shared mine either. I tried with 3 different people, and all 3 people said thanks, but no thanks. I'm like, okay. It's I won't share how much, but what you spend budget wise, you're getting back. You're getting back more than what you're paying. So it's a good little thing. So okay. So how do you decide? So, okay, I'm ready to graduate. I've got the money. I've got the time. I've got the experience. What do I do, Marty? How do I move up?
What do you want? What do you want to do?
Let's change. I'll share my story. I told you this. I hated Maduros. Maduros scared the bejesus out of me. So I want something medium to medium full. I want to slide into the Maduro realm, but I don't want to jump in with both feet. I want to just sort of dip my toe in the water. It's like a 101 class. Give me a 101 class Maduro.
You probably were smoking some fairly, I mean, you can get some Connecticut's that have some kick, right? So
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, here's where you got to talk to somebody who knows, a tobacconist or a friend or, somebody who knows more than you do, and say, here's what I've smoked so far. I'd like to get into Maduros. What do you recommend? He'll look at, oh yeah, you've been smoking the, what am I thinking of? One of the stronger Connecticut's, like the porcelain from Black Label Trading Company. You could easily go into like a Crowned Head La Carême. That's like a Maduro that isn't real strong, and it's got a really nice smooth taste to it that will not knock your palate out of whack.
Yeah. You said something that I want to make sure we highlight. Talk to somebody. Brick and mortars are a lot more prevalent than they were back in our day. I feel like I'm an old man, but they're a lot more prevalent than they were 30 years ago. There's people inside that brick and mortar that know or should know how to steer you in the right direction. And so you can very easily say to them as you walk in, hey, and there's the questions. How do you like your coffee? Do you drink it black? Do you drink it with cream, sugar? They're okay. Yeah. What have you been smoking? That's where you sort of got to walk in with your own knowledge. And again, this is where that graduation comes in going, well, I've been smoking this. I've been smoking this. I've been smoking this. I want to shuffle into the next level. And they should be able to steer you in that direction. I will also point you to the Cigar Authority and Two Guys Smoke Shop. They have a strengthometer wheel where you can look and see, okay, here's what I've been at. And they've got quite a few cigars at each level, and they rank them 1 through 10, one being mild, the ultimate mild cigar, and 10 being, I think, the world's strongest cigar is on there, which came out of Ultimate Cigar. But that's a good way to learn too, is to go, okay, hey, here's where I've been at. And okay, this is a 5. I've been smoking a 5. I'm going to move up to a 6, or I'm going to move up to a 7 and be able to go, okay, I can gradually get to a 10. But yeah, you cigar lounges, yes, go see Teddy at Ultimate if you're in the Chicagoland area. If you're not in the Chicagoland area, call Teddy at Ultimate and bug him. But
bug him. Prank call.
Yeah, bug him. Yeah, there you go. Hey, is your refrigerator running? But even if you walk into a cigar lounge, and if the person behind the counter or the person that meets you in the humidor goes, I don't know, go out and talk to some of the guys in the lounge or women in the lounge. Hey, I'm looking for something a little bit stronger. I've been smoking this Connecticut for the last 6 months. And what can you guys recommend? And I'll guarantee you, every single guy sitting there is going to go, oh, come on, let's go. I'll help you out. And they'll be more than willing to help you. They're not going to talk down to you. They're all going to be willing to, you know what? Hey, let me help you out. Let me point you in the right direction.
Everybody wants to share their favorites. And that's where,
yeah,
you got to find someone who shares your palate. I had the same, like, I didn't have the thing where I was, didn't want a Maduro, because like the first cigar that I had that I really was like, oh wow, this is really good, was a Rocky Patel vintage 1990 Maduro, and I was like, I need to find more cigars like that. But what I was intimidated by were anytime someone said this was a full strength cigar, that intimidated me, because I was like, oh, I don't know if I don't want full strength.
Yeah.
But I've kind of come to find that I really do like the full strength cigars. I wouldn't want them all the time, but yeah, a good full strength cigar is awesome.
Yeah. It's funny now that I was doing some reading and they talked about a lot of people come summertime move more towards the Connecticut's just because of the heat, that stuff. They don't want something so heavy or something so full. So there's a lot of different factors that play into it. Again, graduation doesn't mean you're moving up. It doesn't mean, it means you're moving up in a sense, but it just means you're moving in a different direction. And so therefore it's okay, I'm going to go towards this side. You will hear some very well-versed podcasters and cigar aficionados talk about, I'm in a Connecticut stage right now. I'm in a Maduro stage right now. I'm in, whatever it is,
I'm in a Toro stage. So again, just be open to looking at those things and going, okay, this is what I can afford, and and you might find out after smoking 2 or 3 cigars, this isn't my jam right now. This is just too harsh for me.
Right.
One of the key things is, what are you pairing it with? What are you drinking with your cigar?
Right.
Cigar smokers ad infinitum smoke and drink together, whether it's a coffee, whether it's an iced tea, whether it's a aged rum, a bourbon, scotch, whatever it is, we're always drinking something, and that will affect how that cigar affects you. So, a Diet Coke is always something good to have on standby. It's always, or Diet Pepsi or whatever. If you start smoking a Maduro, and you start feeling lightheaded.
You might need the sugar. Yeah, you might need a full Coke.
Yeah, you might need a full Coke. Yes, you might need the full sugar and the full Coke. Yes, yeah. So,
I've got a funny story. So a friend of mine, like if you're like a newbie cigar smoker, here's what you don't do. You don't go into the cigar shop. Like my friend took his son into the cigar shop, and they were looking for cigars, and his son was just turned 21. He wanted to get in cigars, and the tobacconist says, "What do you want?" He's like, "You want medium or full?" He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for the full right away." And he's had not, he doesn't nicotine. He was not acclimated to nicotine, so he gets the full bodied cigar, and they go home. And I think they had gone out for lunch and had a couple beers, and they go smoke their cigars out on the back deck, and his son starts feeling not so good, and he's like, "I gotta stop." So they go inside, and he's got to stop. Well, his son projectile retches all over the floor of his living room.
Oh,
You do not want to go down that. That's like going to your first week at college, and you haven't had any alcohol, and you're
yes.
overdoing it. Start slow.
Yep. No.
Get yourself acclimated.
Absolutely. Start slow, and if I can say this and make this perfectly clear to any new cigar smokers that are following us or checking us out, don't buy a box. Do not buy a box right away. Just wait. Fight the urge. Yes, it's nice to walk in the house with a new shiny box. Fight the urge. Pick up 2 or 3. And if you still like those 2 or 3, go back and pick up a 5-pack. Okay, if you can get to the 2 or 3 in the 5-pack, and you still then go get that box.
Yeah, or get the sampler where you can try different ones and find something you like.
Yeah. I sat there, again, today, my buying experience, I had boxes in my cart, and I stopped back and I'm like, why am I buying a box? You can buy a 5-pack. It's less money and it's a lot easier, and I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, don't buy a box. Just
even when you find something you like, and if you're like really early in your cigar journey, just keep buying samplers. You'll want to try a lot of different things. You don't need to settle on your favorite cigars yet, because your palate will change.
And if you're just starting your journey, you've got to make sure you got a good way to store it. We can get into storage a whole nother show. I think Teddy and Sheldon got into that a couple months ago. But if you're going to buy a box, you're taking care of between 10 and 20 cigars in just that one box alone. So you don't want to have a desktop humidor with a glass lid that you're going, oh, I'm just going to throw these all in there, and you come back and they're dry and breaking apart and stuff like that. So
that'd be another graduation.
Fight that urge.
Graduate from the small Tupperware to the 60-gallon Tupperware.
Yes. Or the cooladors. You know?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's, you know, graduating. We're talking about graduating cigars, but, you know, you're graduating to cigar storage. You know, again, there's an urge. Oh, I want to get this shiny new 1,500 count cigar humidor. And you realize I'm only putting, you know, 20 to 30 cigars in this humidor, and I'm got this monstrosity. We always say it in the cigar lifestyle. Buy bigger than what you think you're going to need. If you think you're going to need 100, buy a 300. If you think you're going to need a 300, buy a 500. But at the same point, if you think you're going to need 100, don't buy a 1,500. You know,
You'll fill it up.
You know,
Eventually, you're going to
absolutely.
Eventually, you're going to fill it up. Maybe you're not ready to fill it up yet. So don't put that pressure on yourself to fill it up.
Yes. Because there will be pressure. You'll keep looking at that thing going, I can just buy a few more. I can just buy a few more. And next thing you know, your wife's going to be going, what are you doing? What are you buying there? You keep saying buy sampler packs. I'm a big proponent of cigar clubs. I like Cigar of the Month clubs. I think they're a good way to experience 4 or 5 cigars a month that you wouldn't normally pick. Sometimes you do get stuff that you do smoke, but again, most good cigar clubs, they're picking out stuff that is a wide range. I will plug Smoke In. Abe, I know personally picks out those cigars each month. You know, he will, I mean, he's probably got them picked out for the next 6 months to a year, but he picks those all out. And he's like, this is what I'm putting together for June. This is what I'm putting together for July. So, and that's what you want. You want somebody that's going to take that time to go, I'm just not picking the 5 cigars that aren't selling. Give me those 5 cigars. They've been on our shelves for months. I've got 300 people in the cigar club. I can get rid of all those boxes in one shot. You don't want somebody that's going to do that, because if they're not selling, then they're not good cigars. But you want somebody that's taking time. And again, cigar clubs are phenomenal. You can get them for relatively under $50 a month. And you're going to get a wide range. And it's a good way to graduate. You know, it's sort of like study hall. Hey, I'm going to smoke these different cigars, and I know, oh, I like that one. Okay, well, what is that? And you start looking up, going, wow, that's a Maduro. That didn't hit me like a Maduro, you know, or this Connecticut knocked me on my butt. So, you know, it's a real good way to do it. And again, if you get into a Cigar Dojo, Smoke In's got the Socialite group on Facebook. Cigars Daily's got their group. Those people that have Adam with Dreamer Cigars has got his pairing club. They all will talk about those cigars throughout the month then. So now you're getting other people's opinion. Oh my God, this is a great cigar. Oh, this wasn't so good. So you'll get other people's thoughts and opinions on those cigars as well.
So I think we're kind of reaching the end of the cigar graduation journey. Did you have other topics you wanted to cover?
I don't think so. I think that's, you know, I think this is I hope this is a great show. I hope everybody enjoyed it. For our one viewer that's still on, that's either your wife or my wife, or one of our phones is stuck on.
I'm showing 4.
Okay, good. So, no, I think, again, graduation is a very broad topic. And I think we tried to cover some things that we believe will help you progress in this lifestyle. But again, you might go, you're way off. Okay, fine. You know, we're all learning. I will be the first to tell you, I am not an aficionado. I don't know everything. I learn, I listen. There's a reason that Marty and I listen to podcasts probably way too much. My wife will be like, there's another podcast in it? Yeah, there is. You know, but that's my rabbit hole that I go down. So,
right.
Yeah. What about you? Anything else?
No, I think we covered it. Like, yeah, in the end, there's not really a graduation. There's like a journey, and you're always going to be learning and experiencing new things, unless you find like the cigar that you'd want to smoke for the rest of your life, and you don't want to try anything else, I guess that's one journey. But
And I'd venture to say that if you find that cigar that you're going to smoke for the rest of your life, in a year or two, you're going to go, I'm done with this cigar. You know, I've smoked it for, 700 days, and it's lost its flavor.
That would be the rarity, to find someone who just didn't want to try anything else, and they had their one cigar, and that would be more rare than people who are constantly changing what they want.
Yeah.
Even
it's your
the
journey
cigar won't change. Like, there's no guarantee the cigar that you pick is going to be as good 10 years from now as it is today, or even exist.
300 hands touch a cigar from the moment that it's planted to the moment that it touches your hands. So that cigar is going to change in some way, shape, or fashion. The tobacco is going to be a little bit different. You might not notice it, but and the cigar that you smoke today, if you smoke that same cigar 2 years from now, that tobacco is completely different. It's a different yield. It's a different strain. It's different. So,
right.
Yeah. No, excellent. Again, just to remind everybody, next Tuesday, 7:30, Bob the Cigar Guy is going to be on. We're going to be talking about fatherhood in the cigar world. What's it mean to be a father? What's it mean to be a father in the cigar world? We're going to talk about some father-son, father-daughter pairings for brands. But we're also going to talk to Bob. Bob's a great guy. If you've never met him, if you've never tuned into the podcast of Chief Talks or his YouTube channel, he's a great guy. Some phenomenal insight and just down to earth. So I hope everybody can join us next week as we jump into fatherhood with our first guest ever. We might have to have a party or a drink or something to toast our first guest. So it'll be exciting. So, but just want to say goodnight. Marty, you want to sign us off?
Before we close, we got one more thing.
Oh, geez.
What happened today in Chicago history?
What happened today in Chicago history? Oh my gosh. I totally forgot. I told you I'm still giddy over freaking Bob coming to be on our show. So, what do you have? Do you have anything?
There's all kinds of things that happened today.
Yeah.
The top of my list is 1975. Walter Payton signed his rookie contract today.
Did he really? That didn't pop up in my search. Wow.
He signed a 3-year contract with the Chicago Bears, becoming the highest paid rookie ever for the Bears.
Wow.
Earning at least $150,000 a year.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. They're making more than that in college now.
Yes.
Way more than that.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be approximately $897,000 in 2025 dollars. So that's even low. That would even be low today.
Yeah. Holy cow. Wow. I'm trying to see. So this day in 1990, a major outbreak of severe weather struck Illinois. Multiple tornadoes touched down across the central part of the state, causing injuries and widespread damage. It didn't directly hit Chicago, but that, I think, is the Plainfield tornadoes. Am I correct?
That sounds the right time frame. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when we had the Plainfield tornadoes.
Yeah.
So
1992, Michael Jordan.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The shrug.
Yeah. The big shrug. The Portland Trailblazers.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Yep. Yeah. 35 points in the first half, including 6 3-pointers. And that's when they didn't shoot a 3-pointer every shot.
No. Is it weird to think back and go, I remember watching that game live?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still love watching. I watched the dance, the final dance, whatever it is, the dance. I love watching that series just to go through some of that stuff with him and hear how he geared himself up to beat opponents, and he'd make stuff up in his mind. You know, it's just, it's yeah. So, 2015, the Chicago Blackhawks game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Blackhawks defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1. Teuvo Teravainen scored the tying goal late in the third period and assisted on Antonio Vermette's game-winning goal in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Nice.
So, yeah.
He was back with the Blackhawks last year, I think. They traded.
Yeah,
back.
he was. Yeah. So
I had one from 2003, the Cubs thing.
Okay.
Sammy Sosa.
Home run?
Not a home run. Not a good thing. His bat shattered and they found cork in it.
That's the cork. So the cork bat. Wow, that was this early in the season, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought that was a lot later in the season. I remember the cork bat.
He got suspended for 7 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that too. Oh, man. Yeah, it's good old sports history. The Sox didn't have anything that I found that was exciting back in this day in the history. I did find 1861. I'm taking you way back. June 3rd, 1861. Abraham Lincoln's rival, Stephen A. Douglas, died at the age of 48. So that they were known for the Lincoln Douglas debates.
Right.
And he died this day in 1861.
That's way back.
Yeah, the Tremont House Hotel in Chicago. And his tomb is now a historic site on the south side. I didn't know that. I didn't know he had a tomb on the south side. So, but yes, fun. Anything else?
That's all I got. But
now we can sign off.
2019, apparently this guy won Jeopardy. He had a 32-day Jeopardy winning streak ended after he won $2.46 million.
Who was that?
John Holzhauer. He's a Naperville native. I guess that's why it's in.
Oh, speaking of natives, and not to get crazy, but so obviously the Pope is from Chicago. So I don't know if you saw or not, but he's going to be having a message broadcast in Chicago at the Comiskey Field or Comiskey Park or guaranteed rate field or whatever. And then the bishop is going to say mass. So they came up with this idea. Hey, we're going to sell all the tickets for $5 a piece. That way everybody can get in. And, the thing sold out. It's sold out. Now the tickets are on the secondary market, $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
$1,000 a piece. I'm like, come on, people. How do you do that? Jack up the price like that. They did it purposely to make sure that, to make sure families could go.
Pope tickets.
Yeah, it's a whole new level in Chicago. It's a whole new level in Chicago. So,
all right, that's all I got.
All right. Well, again,
great night. You too, Texas.
Again, next week, 7:30, Bob the Cigar Guy, Fatherhood will be coming to you live. Join us, please. If you're listening to us on Spotify, take some time out. Join us. We want to hear your questions. We want to be able to share your questions, answer your questions, and get your feedback. So until next week, good night. Enjoy a great cigar. Marty?
Put some smoke in the air, everybody. Have a good night.